Hi, my name is Tim Vojtasko, and I currently serve as Phi Sigma Kappa's Grand President. Today I'd like to bring you some greetings for our Founders Day, the 139th birthday of the fraternity, and also share with you some of the things that are going on within Phi Sigma Kappa today. As you all know, we've got three cardinal principles: to promote brotherhood, to stimulate scholarship, and to develop character. We also have four core values that are important to the fraternity: demand excellence, a commitment to lifelong learning, brotherhood above self, and meeting challenges with innovation. We also have a motto, the golden rule, and a creed we all use to signify our commitments to Phi Sigma Kappa and our guiding principles for the organization. Back in 1873, on March 15th, 6 young men created the idea for what they thought would be a new fraternity, which it did become. On February 20th, 1910, members of Phi Sigma Epsilon created their national fraternity. 2 weekends ago, on February 17th to the 19th, members of Phi Sigma Kappa's three governing bodies met to do the same. The bodies of Phi Sigma Kappa Properties, the Phi Sigma Kappa Foundation, and the Grand Chapter or Grand Council of Phi Sigma Kappa met in a mid-year meeting to set our priorities and goals for the upcoming year to 2 years. What I'd like to tell you now are some of the major actions that came out of the three meetings that took place 2 weekends ago. The first would be the meeting of Phi Sigma Kappa Properties. Major things that came out of Phi Sigma Kappa Properties had to do with making sure that they continue to not only provide and manage the resources that have been allocated to them from local housing corporations, but also that they have the ability to explore being short-term bridge loans for those local housing corporations that may need those services. Finally, Phi Sigma Kappa Properties organization has agreed to lend the Phi Sigma Kappa Foundation $50,000 to take care of some life safety issues at our headquarters facility in Indianapolis. The second organization that met was the Phi Sigma Kappa Foundation. The Phi Sigma Kappa Foundation had two major initiatives that they identified. The first one being that they've got projected growth that's going to warrant them being able to hire a full-time executive director whose services are dedicated 100% of the time to the foundation, rather than splitting that position right now with the Grand Chapter. Secondly, the foundation has a very strong invested interest in making sure that they increase their not only number of donors, but also the average size of gift they receive from our donors currently. The third organization, the Grand Council, which mainly works with supporting and providing direction to all of Phi Sigma Kappa, came up with two initiatives. The first one would be to set and prioritize not only their financial but workforce allocations for the next 2 years for the fraternity. The other area they wanted to work on is not only coming up with what those goals and objectives would be, but making sure they're communicated and cascaded throughout Phi Sig. Everything from our regional advisors and regional counselors, our local housing corporation and alumni club officers, our volunteer staff, our chapter leadership, and ultimately all of Phi Sig around the world. The first priority that the Grand Council looked into was, do we have a need for reevaluating the organizational structure of Phi Sig? We came to a realization that the organization looks the same as it did back in 1975. It may be fine in the structure that we're currently operating in, but we also want to make sure that we're being most efficient and productive as we can, not only with our headquarters staff, but the way we're set up regionally for our chapters and also our alumni clubs. Second, Phi Sigma Kappa needs to come of age in the digital age. We need to make sure that the way we're delivering our services to our constituents is in the way that they're used to receiving them. And that includes delivering content through the web, through social applications and social learning, and even through member-developed apps that would be downloadable to make ease of use for all of our members. The third priority that the Grand Council has identified has to do with membership education. And this does not just include our traditional membership application programs for associate members or ongoing undergraduate membership. We'd like to make sure that we're offering all of Phi Sigma Kappa the opportunity for professional and personal growth by making sure that alumni, in addition to undergraduates, have the opportunities for networking and learning. We like to have the opportunity for all of our members to exchange ideas and have scholarly discussion and debate with each other. Number 4 really has to do with the vehicle to implement all these ideas. We can have all the best ideas in the world, but we don't have a membership to distribute them to, we're really not going to influence lives. What the Grand Council would like to see is that our number of chapters and colonies rises above 100 by 2015. This includes not only increasing chapters on campus, but includes going back to campuses where we are currently dormant and making sure that we scrutinize new campuses to make sure that they meet the needs and ideals of Phi Sigma Kappa. We'd also like to make sure that each chapter on their respective campus is at least the average campus size for their fraternity system. One of the areas we want to take a look at is, are there untapped resources and potential Phi Sig members that we haven't necessarily considered before? We have an amazing brotherhood and should be looking at all opportunities to extend that to others. For example, brothers Doug Deco, brothers Ed Kovacs, brother Joe Farias, brother Red Skelton, brother Bob Zilgett, all gained their membership in Phi Sigma Kappa as alumni members. In fact, my own father became a member of Phi Sigma Kappa as an alumnus this past April, and Council Director Scott Jacobson's father, Dave, became a Phi Sig this past December. We have some great and wonderful things that we should be sharing with others as Phi Sigs, and perhaps we should take a look at expanding our traditional base of membership and look at alumni. One of the strongest benchmarks that an organization does is to find out how they're doing. Phi Sigma Kappa has never taken on a full membership survey. And by membership survey, I'm talking about a high caliber professional survey used by association management teams to identify not only what's going well, but also what their member needs are. Starting this year, we'll be conducting an annual member survey to find out about the wants and needs of our members in order to improve Phi Sigma Kappa. Over the years, risk management has been a constant topic for our fraternity. What we'd like to see take place is not only that we reduce the number of risk management incidents, but we also provide the education to help people understand how to keep each other safe. By lowering the number of risk management incidents and providing proper education to our members through online media and training, we'll find that we can truly become our brother's keepers. All of the initiatives that we've talked about so far require funding, and that's why the Grand Council and the Grand Chapter are committed to supporting the Phi Sigma Kappa Foundation and their fundraising endeavors. This includes providing friend-raising opportunities with Phi Sigs across the U.S. and around the world so that we can then build fundraising opportunities. A way to help the Phi Sigma Kappa Foundation do this would be to change our mentality from what can you spare to what can you share to help others. All Phi Sigs know the triple T's. For the upcoming year, I'd like to also pay attention to 3 new triple T's: time, talent, and treasure. Finally, we'd like to increase our number of year-over-year initiates. One way we can do this is by looking for earlier opportunities for recruitment. Things such as partnering with high school organizations that may have similar values and ideals to Phi Sigma Kappa to serve as feeder groups for our chapters across the country. Also, we have a wonderful, amazing service and brotherhood that we offer to our members. We need to constantly be on the lookout for men across campus that might not fit the typical fraternity model, but might make great Phi Sigs. Each member of the Phi Sigma Kappa Grand Council, including our student representatives Brad and EJ, are going to serve on a task force to implement and finalize all the ideas that I've just discussed with you. If you have an interest in serving on one of these committees, please let myself or Michael Carey know. And finally, there's going to be some very low-hanging fruit, things that we can do very easily to make our fraternity a better fraternity. But what I'm looking for are your additional ideas that we may need to implement over the next 2 years that will help make Phi Sig be world famous.